Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. It's been a relatively quiet day, and it's going to be a holiday week, a holiday shortened week. But we have seen crude going in and pull back. Obviously, actually from a level that I was looking at, which was 38.28, we pulled back $1, but we're coming into just right above the 38% retracement, and we have Euro working higher. There isn't any specific news overall that's coming for FX. There hasn't been any real key reports out. We don't have anything coming into the docket tomorrow. We do have Spanish retail sales, Italian consumer confidence, Case-Shiller home sales, API oil stocks, and later rolling into the new day or into the U.S. day, we would have UK. I think that's actually rolling into the next day. I was thinking it was the other report that comes out about 7 p.m. Eastern time. I can't remember what the name of that report is. It's been a while since I followed cable. But there is a weekly report that comes out around 7 p.m. Eastern time. I want to say brick sales. I don't remember what it was, but anyway, that's not it. But overall, there hasn't been a whole lot other than, like I said, the euro's trying to work towards its highs. And we'll move into that area. Let's go on and move into the chart. So let's go on and flip this back to the main news. And as I said, nothing really coming across the wires. Gold is working lower. We've repeatedly talked about this, is that until we get above 1086, this market, that the guys are just going to keep whacking it and just playing the percentages. Like we talked about that last week. Ride that pony till it won't ride no more, and essentially that's it. But we're coming into a 38% retracement in crude and into a value area of about 36.87 to 36.99, but 38% retracement at 37.16, which actually the low is 37.18, so I guess close enough for government work. So let's go and take a look at the euro and see where we stand. Let's move into the euro. Pedro asks, you plan to do any trades yourself this week? It doesn't matter what I'm going to do. You need to worry about what you're going to do, in the sense that we all have different risk profiles. I mean, if you're just a scalper, then it shouldn't make any difference. If you're looking for different moves, then probably you don't want to trade. It just depends. Everybody's different. It really doesn't matter what I'm going to do. Everybody has their own decision as to what they want to go on and do. And if the market gets to a certain, I think that this week, to start out the week, I think that just like we have in the last couple of days, not last couple of days, but remember here when we were trading, and I said, I thought, initially in the day, it didn't look like a whole lot, but as we left. And then when I was talking to those in the chat room, I thought, hey, we're going to make a move towards, 9, between around 9:15 and 9:29, because we had done a lot of work in the 860s in the euro dollar. I thought that we had, and then that opened us up for higher. And then I thought we were going to make another run up higher, because on the 30-minute, it looked very reminiscent of what we had the previous day, and sure enough, we worked higher. And then we did finally go in and pull back. And here's that move in the 860s we talked about. And then I said the next day I was looking for another run up here based on this was very similar to this, and the market was just set up where it could squeeze a lot higher. I kind of think the same thing. I had a value zone, which I was thinking that maybe the euro could pull back if we start out the week a little bit lower, and I thought that this would be a good buy to launch up. But they've continued to squeeze people, and you have to figure there's probably some people that came in and thought, well, this is a good area. They thought, well, you know, this got overdone. This is a great area to short, and they're just squeezing these people. They're doing to these people what they did to the people, kind of sort of in a way, in the 860s, but we had a lot more work that we had done here. But I thought that we were going to make a move to 929. I thought it was a decent fade, or 915 to 929, and we pulled back some, and then another move up, and we did get a nice pullback from there. And now you've worked off a lot of this overbought area, and also anybody that's shorted, they're probably happy to get the hell out of Dodge down here. So now you had the market able to launch higher, and then really it's just a matter of it's the end of the year, and they're just going to go on and lean on those that might be on the wrong side of the market. I think it's maybe not as much lean on them as is the path of least resistance, because probably some people may be disappointed. They may be disappointed in, like they thought that maybe that the euro would continue to work lower and break lower. So the same people that got short in here, and we talked about this, the work in the 860s, and they thought, okay, we're going to finish the year going a lot lower. And today I'm going to go and really take my time just to talk through different scenarios, because Blake's in Vegas for his, I think it's his father-in-law's 70th birthday, so Blake's going to be out until Thursday. So I got to cover for the next 3 hours for the next 3 days. So I'm really going to pace myself. I'm getting over a cold, still have a little bit of a hoarse voice, so I'm just going to take my time, going through this, and we'll just, which might be a good thing in a way, we'll, talk over different scenarios. This is the way that I trade. I try and look at different scenarios when I come in, not trying to figure out where I'm being right or wrong. That's why I don't like it when people ask me for a forecast. I used to do that. I don't do that. I just, try and figure out where I think the market can go, and then based on that, where I would take trades. Essentially, that's it. Whether the market goes up or down, I mean, I came in this weekend and I thought, well, they'll probably work a little bit lower, and I'll be buying into this value zone. I thought the value zone between 905 to 915 was going to be fantastic. And look, it's going the other direction. So that's what I'm saying, just letting the market kind of tell me or dictate what it wants to do. And it looks like, I think the reason it's doing this is because, like I said, the people that were wrong and got short, and there were some good traders that got short and were wrong, clearly wrong. I'm sure if they did hang on all the way through here, I don't know, then they've certainly covered on the way back down here. They may have covered for small losses. So at this point, a lot of people are saying, well, it's the end of the year. Screw it. I'm not going to take it on anymore. And those are the people that are holding for, for days and days, or maybe a week or a couple of weeks. So like, screw it, I'll just come back in the beginning of the year. So, and then the people that thought, like I said, they were going to also think we were going to work lower, they've just said, forget it. I'll just reset and start brand new in the new year. So the path of least resistance is to the upside. So, I mean, my level's already there. I mean, don't ask me about resistance and all. I mean, they're there. That's what I'm saying. You're basically asking me where I'm going to forecast it, and they're just there. The levels don't change. I mean, it's the same levels that, like I said, when I said the 860s, the work that I did here. I came in, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, I said, look, this is mirroring this, so it looks like we're going to go higher. It just is what it is. I know why people keep asking me for forecasts. I don't trade that way. If there's other people that trade that way, that's fine. Then ask them to forecast. That's not the way that I trade. I just let the market go where it's going to go and go. And I just base it on the price structure and how it can potentially move. So I think that if they want to squeeze them and create a little bit more pressure, which they may want to do going into holiday mode, and anybody that might be on the wrong side of the market, they may try and make a run towards this 1036, which I think is a reasonable value area if you're interested to be short. That's all that is. I'm just looking at different scenarios and basing what I look at. This is a good example. I think it was in here where I thought that the market was going to be done for, and I think it was here that I'd taken a short like it. I was very patient. I thought I was very patient. I remember coming in at that time. This was back in early December or after the first week. And I thought about coming at 929. I remember the market bouncing around. I remember this perfectly. And the market got up here, and I thought it was going to get to 948, and only made it to like 943. And it pulled back, and I go, well, I'm just not going to take the trade. And then finally I did put the trade on at 957, and the market kept going higher. And if I thought it was going to go higher, I wouldn't have put it on at 957. I was just looking at value areas. And then I put on another trade, I think it was at 1002, and I thought that was pretty fantastic. And the market kept going higher. And the last trade I put on was at 1028. And then I was able to cover them all during the European session the next day at pretty decent levels. I'm just saying, I'm just looking at different areas that I consider value areas in my overall perspective. I just think that right now, it's the end of the year. You got people that are not going to be willing to step in front of the train. Whereas if it was another time of this year, they'd be like, okay, I'll take it on it here, I'll take it on it there. So on a bit of an extreme, I think that a move towards this 1036 will be very nice. I don't know if it'll make it up there, but I'm just saying is, if you could step in, and you could have overnight during the Asian session, you could have stepped in and just shorted here. And you said, I don't care, I'll short it. And now you're underwater, but you have to figure is that, and there's no guarantees, is that since the market is apt to maybe squeeze a little bit, put some people under pressure, people aren't willing to step in unless they get a great value price, and I think that a move towards this 1036 would be a pretty decent value price right in here. They may just choose to run out of gas here. We don't know what the market's all made up of. But if they want to push them a little bit higher, or if you want to go into scale in, you could scale in a little bit around 10 or right at 10, and then see if they can make a run towards this 1036. They might even squeeze up even higher. There's no guarantees. James says, will Blake be online today? I have no idea. I mean, he's on vacation. If I was him, I wouldn't come online. I mean, come on, dude gives so much all year, and you want him to log in during his vacation? I mean, come on. I don't think so. If he does, okay. But I mean, if you're talking about log in the chat room, there's always a possibility, but I don't know. But log in anywhere else, no. Blake's in Vegas for the next 3 days with family. So he's not going to be logging in at all whatsoever. And on top of that, he ought to be able to enjoy his vacation. But on top of that, it's going to be a quiet week. That's what I'm saying. You're seeing a lot of this. You have to be careful when you trade this week. And I don't mean you can't trade, but you got to be careful because, especially in FX, I think in equities it's okay, but in FX they're going to go in and lean on it because they're going to be the market knows that they're just like right now. The market knows that there's going to be people who are going to press it, and because they're going to go in and press it, no one's willing to stand the way. So you can see moves stretch a little bit. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy like Thanksgiving, but you'll see the market press even stronger because no one wants to get in the way. I mean, I'll be willing to take the trade here. I mean, the market could potentially run out of gas right around 10, but I'm not going to take the trade because it's holiday thin trading. I don't think it's super thin, but I think the market can really push them and keep pushing it and pushing it. And I'm not going to, why am I going to go and come in there? If it's going to be thinner trading and I know that they can push it, I'm going to let them, I'll come in an area that I feel exceptionally comfortable with. Lynette says, thanks for hanging with us. So I appreciate your insight. Well, thanks, Lynette. I just think that this week it doesn't mean you can't trade. You just have to be a little bit nimble. Now, maybe not nimble. You just have to be, you have to say, I want, even more so than ever, you have to say, I want my price. Like I thought that potentially the market could have worked lower. So this is where I was going to buy. I was going to buy it down here towards 905, like 907, 908. And I thought that would be a great area right there. And there was a value zone between 905 and 915. Sounds really tight, but when I looked at it, it looks really good. I looked at it even on some volume profiles, it looks really good. But the market's going the other way because what they're doing is they're just squeezing people because they know no one's stepping in the way. So they're just going to keep pushing and pushing it. And they might get some other people to go in and cough up. So I'm thinking, I don't mind being short Euro, but I'm not going to step in now. I wouldn't mind being short up here. And that might be all she wrote. We may look back next week and say, man, what a fantastic area. 989 would have been short. But for now, I'm just going to leave it alone because I know with the holiday thin trading, they can push it a little bit higher, and I'll be cool selling it in here. Because you have to figure the downside. What if it continues to want to push higher? Then if I short it here, and it pushes to take out these highs up here and jumps into the 1070, 1080s, now I'm down 80 pips. But if I short it here and it pushes higher, I'm thinking, well, maybe some people take the other side of the trade, and I'm down only like 45 pips. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather have the heat here. If it gets up to 1070, 1087, and I'm thinking, wow, maybe it's going to go to the top of the zone, 1115. Well, then if I shorted at 1036, here, I'd be down 80 pips. I'd say, man, there's some good resistance here. I might even manage a trade by selling some more at 1087 and scalping around until it can finally start to work a little lower. But if I sell it here, I'm already down 120 pips. And I'm already like, why'd you put that trade on? This was stupid. It was at the beginning of this, with the bottom part of this zone. This market can really get going. You're really going to be under pressure. And this market is really going to push really hard. I don't have to go through that. So I'm thinking, while it's going to be a thin time, I'd rather just come in at a very good area, a value area. So we'll just have to see. And then I guess if you measure this, I didn't look at this, but I guess you could. And 1172 is pretty key. So that's what I'm saying is I'd rather just take my time and just see what happens. I think it's overdone, but it doesn't mean that it can't move higher. But we're going to take a lot of time today because, like I said, I got to pace myself. Because, like I said, Blake's going to be in Vegas. For most of the week, if you think today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, so I guess he'll show up on Thursday, and of course, Friday's New Year's Day, so, he'll come in that day. We have a little bit of resistance here at the 989, and like I said, if you want to step in, and take a little bit here, that's fine. That's up to you. I'd be taking it right here if it was a regular trading day. I think that 989 is a great level here on the 30-minute. You see right here, we've talked about this before, all these touches. But like I said, knowing that these guys and gals know that it's a little bit thin in holiday trading, they can push a little bit higher. I just don't want to get in the way. I'd rather just wait, and I can wait. If I see my price, I'll be comfortable with my price. But unless I can see my price, then I just really don't want to do anything at this point. Whereas if it was regular, if it was regular session, non-holiday, I'd be happy to take some here at 989 because I'd be looking for them to pull back at least to about maybe 965, catch 20 pips or whatever. And if the market starts to rotate a little bit, then it looks like pretty obvious it's going to work eventually lower, then fine, I'd take it at that point. Now, just a quick look. We'll just jump in real quick for anybody who's trading crude, and then we'll jump back into the euro. We're right in here into the, wrong chart, okay. We're right in here, and this is 38%. I had to reload my charts. I accidentally hit the thing right before I came on, and all the charts got all jacked up and had to reload them. Thank God I didn't have to restart the system, or we probably wouldn't be starting the show till about 5:15. So let me just mark this off. Let's just put this for now. I know this was 38.28. Just doing this stuff from memory. What was the low? Oh, 34.53. Now we do have a value area coming in. Obviously, we're pulling down between this 36.87 and 36.99. And we'll take a look at this on a 4-hour chart, 2-hour chart actually. This 36.87, I've got 81, it's 36.99. I'm not going to focus on crude because it's already time to take a break. I'm going to take long extended breaks because then I won't take another break probably till almost 8 a.m. Eastern time after I take this next break. But I just wanted if for anyone who's looking at crude, we have a value area between, I'll just come in real quick. When I say value, just the value zone in here, right here. And I think that the market could find a little bit of support here. We stopped at 37.18 and we worked a little bit higher, but the market's rolling back down the hill. But I think this zone is going to provide some nice support here. You see that? 36.87 to 36.99. So I think we could drip a little bit low, and then the market might try and find some support in here. But let's get back to the euro. I just want to do that in case anyone was looking at crude, just to give a quick heads up. But this is where I think would be a decent area here. If they're going to go with that scenario where they take them into the U.S. session, they keep squeezing them. Maybe they squeeze them, all the way going towards the London close. I remember I tried that one guy who told me the only reason it rallied from here was because it was the London close. But like I said, they may just keep pushing it for anybody. But I don't think there's that much volume here. Matter of fact, we can take a look at something real quick. the volume is really super, super light. Let me see if I can drag this over here without causing a lot of issues. So look, there's no volume. You see that here? Oh, that's crude. Doggone it. The wrong damn. Go back. See how the volume is relatively light? We had a couple little spikes up here, but it's still relatively light. As if you were to you see how this is really low, real low. I mean, it's actually just as low as it was on Christmas Eve. You see? So they're just squeezing them up here. That's all they're doing. So if you look at that in perspective, you're saying there's no real volume that's driving this to speak of. So if you look at that, it keeps you in good shape. You have to know, like this, you got to know what the tiger that you're playing with. This tiger doesn't seem to have, you know, that many paws, you know, any sharp claws and paws, but it can still, you know, knock you about. Knock you about meaning we can still run up a little bit higher, but we'll just have to go in and see how things load up. Damn it. Jacked up all my crap when I had to reload everything. But let's go on and it's time to go on and take a break. And when we come back, we'll focus on crude. And if anyone has any other questions. Like I said, I'm going to go and take a little bit more extended break because when we come up to the top of the hour, I can't take a break then. So I may not take a break for at least another hour. I may even take the break late to take it very late, so make it almost an hour and a half. So we'll have to see. But thanks for joining us here on the webinar. Like I said, Blake's out. I'm going to be repeating that ad nauseum. Because, you know, as people come in, they'll be thinking, wait a minute, where's Blake? So Blake's going to be out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, because he's in Vegas with family. I think it's for his father-in-law's 70th birthday, I believe it is. So I'm going to have to, be doing the show for 3 hours. So I'm going to need to pace myself, too, just trying to get over this cold. So we'll take more time to look at each of the markets in depth. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, other than where can I short it and where can I buy it, and exactly which is the stop, and exactly what's the profit target, other than something like that. What I'm saying is if you like, like I said, I don't mind people asking questions. If you want to engage and say, what do you think about this area? I think this area is this. What do you think? Other than just saying, give me another trade. So we'll see you back in 10 minutes, and thanks for joining us here on the European Crossover webinar. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the European Crossover webinar. As I mentioned, we've gotten a few more listeners come in. Is that Blake's going to be out Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? Well, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. He's in Vegas for his, I think it's his father-in-law's 70th birthday, I believe. Anyway, let's take a look. Andy says, morning, Polly, I have 10.02 to 30 as my next level to short your dollar. And yeah, I think that's like I said, that's a decent area. I mean, like I said, I like 10.36. I think that, if this is regular trading, not holiday trading, I think this area here against 10.89, and we took a look at that earlier on the 30-minute, would be a great area to scale in. But like I said, it's holiday trading. We are in a buy mode. If you look in here, we've been in a buy mode since about 907, 908. See in the EMAs, we've been on a buy mode. But we're coming in at 989. I would expect the market to pause a little bit, but because we're in holiday trading, people aren't willing necessarily to step in and take the other side. So like I said, normally I'd be stepping in right here at 989, and I would have taken some of this right now, and I would look for the market probably to pull back, let's say 12 pips, 10, 12 pips. I would have taken some off there and let it pop back up again, maybe short it again, and then look for a dip closer towards 970, 967. Then I would have taken that and see how the market developed. But because they've got the people on the other side of the trade, or that they're pushing it, even though I showed y'all the volume is relatively low, you can't deny that no one's willing to step in and take the other side. So we can push a little bit higher in this market. So let's go and take a look here. And we talked about getting into the crude, so we'll take a look. Crude has finally slowed down. We're at that 38%. So let's take a look at that. Eric says, is that a shooting star on the 30-minute, or does it have to be a red candle? I don't see a shooting star. There's no shooting. The wick would have to be longer. Doesn't matter whether it's a dark candle or not. To be a shooting star, it'd have to be after a run and have to be a longer wick. Like this isn't really a shooting star. Even though it's been after a run, the wick's not that long. It might be a little bit long for, let's say, a graveyard doji, but here you could say, but after a run like this, you have to have a little bit longer wick because it's a shooting star. So star, you would say, hey, look, that's way up in the stratosphere. So even this, which that's not, but even this would need to be higher to show like the market really shot off like a star shooting across, or shooting up, I should say, and then coming back down. But this is closer than that, and that's not even a shooting star. I wouldn't even necessarily indicate this. Even the wick's a little bit too short even for a graveyard doji, because you want the look to be a little bit longer, not too long, and it just kind of runs out of gas. But we don't even have that here. But like I said, I like this 989, but like I said, with holiday trading, I'm just not going to take that trade unless I get my price, because I know that there's a tendency that they can squeeze them a little bit, and that's what they've been doing. And we talked about that here in the, like I said, I always tell you, the market always remembers what it did before. So here's the work we talked about that they did in the 860s, which allowed the market. Not until later on, I was looking for the market to, go between around 915, maybe up as size 929, and then the next day, I'll be doggone if we don't do the same thing. Look very similar, and that allowed us to run up higher, and we squeezed a lot of people. I know we knocked. Some people even told me they shorted at poor areas, and they got knocked out of the box on the way up here. And then look, the market turns around, comes almost all the way back. So I know that there's the possibility this market can run a little bit higher. It's not too far above this area here. And it's 989, like I said, if it was regular trading, I'd be happy to scale in a little bit here. But they may, like with holiday trading, allow them to goose up a little bit higher. So you have to be cognizant of that. I just don't think that there's any rush because you don't want to have to be stuck holding it. Uh, and then you're over the weekend, then we don't know how, what they're going to do as they come into the new year. They'll wait a little bit. Maybe they let the market work a little bit higher. Then they step in, and you're just stuck in this thing. Like I said, if your time frame is super short, then fine. 989 is okay. But like I said, just realize that they can, put a little bit more heat on this trade. So just be aware of that. So let's go on and get into crude. Hold on. Okay, everything got all jacked up when I had to reload my charts. That really ticks me off. Oh, wait a minute. No, okay. There's crude. Okay, let me just step back for just a second. Give me a second. We'll be right back, and we'll go on and cover crude. So just hang on for just a second. Okay, thanks again. So let's go and take a look here at the crude. As I said, one of the things I was looking at over the weekend is potentially a pullback. If you can see here, we broke this trend line here. And for us to test this trend line, and then I see a value area between 36.99, 36.81. It's actually, I think, on the 30-minute habit, but anyway, essentially 36.80, 36.99. 37.16 is the 38% retracement of 34.53 to 38.28. We'll take a look at this on the 30-minute. And you can see here that we've been on a buy signal since way down here, about 35.5. And we just flipped over to a sell signal right here. Go and highlight that. Right there. So the pressure's been to go lower. After we initially were trying to notice how we came right to the pip, or tick I should say, 38.28, right here. And we've worked lower, but I think that we've got a decent value area between here. We'll pull this back of 36.87 to 36.99. So essentially, and like I said, I'm doing the analysis today a little bit different because, as I said, I'm going to be covering for Blake during his show, so I'm going to have to do 3 hours. And so I'm just taking the analysis very slow. If anyone has any general questions or what about this, what about that, feel free to go and ask. And we'll take our time going through each of the markets, what I'm basically looking for. So, the scenario I was looking for yesterday that I was kind of planning for was, okay, it looks like we've broken this downtrend line, but the market's a little bit overdone, so potentially we'll see the market come back to test that trend line, which is where we're at right now. And then I've got a value zone here between 3681 to 3691, 3699 here. And I think that that's a pretty decent area where you'd find some support. And then if we look here on the volume profile, back this up a little bit, you can see the bottom of this value zone came in around 37 even. But, and let me go and take a look at this 30 minute. This area right here, this 36, just about here, like 3690, 90, is really a decent area here. It's the bottom of this value zone, this point of control. I just think that there's going to be some decent value in this area. We could push as low, maybe about 3660, but I think overall, I think right in here, you can push a little bit lower, but I think overall, that's a pretty decent value. That 3680 to 37, the only thing I'm thinking is that potentially we can drip into 3687, 3699. The only thing is like I said, it's holiday trading. You can see here that we're continuing to drip lower. The volume, you look at it, has not been anything to think of. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, you look at everything in context. Look how low this volume has been. I mean, yeah, it is, you know, it's before New York trading, but overall, it's relatively quiet. Now, that can be a positive thing because we've dripped lower on this lower volume, which some people will say, well, that means that you could even drip even further. Yeah, but look how much we've pulled back from 38.28. So we've already dropped, you know, $1.10, $1.15 or whatever from those levels. So we may be able to go and push them a little bit lower, come into this value area between 36.80 to 36.99 and find some support there. I think it's worth looking into. I think that you should be ready for that potential move. That's what I believe. I think you need to be ready for this move here. That I think that I'd be looking for. You can wait to see how it sets itself up, but I definitely would have my peepers open between 36.87 to 36.99. They could potentially push a little bit lower to this 36.65, and there's a lot of good value in there. But I think the value zone, at least you know what your risk is here in the crude, and it kind of plays into this move, is that we've broken the trend line, and we want to go in and come back and retest the trend line, and we can dip a little bit lower, and then from there we can work up. I mean, overall, probably to start out the new year, they're probably going to eventually work a little bit lower just to test them and to see what they've got down there. But at least for now, for this week, maybe to start out the week, they don't press them too far lower, and from there we can work a little bit higher. But we'll have to see how that all plays out. So Blake's getting ready to go on, not Blake's getting ready to come on, what am I saying? So getting ready to come into the morning edge. So let's just take a quick 3-minute break. That's it, and then we'll start out again on the morning edge. So like I said, let's just take a quick 3-minute break, and we'll be right back.